Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. We discuss psychological coaching and emotional topics, and we do that on a daily basis in an audio format. Over 230 things for you to check out. So please go do that. Like, subscribe, comment below. So today we're going to talk about 10 things or signs that you are being flooded with emotional pain. So emotional pain is, in simplest form, an emotional reaction and experience of emotions that are uncomfortable for a variety of reasons that one cannot resolve quickly and efficiently. And so there are many ways to know that you're getting flooded with emotional pain. And if you're a people pleaser, that will flood you, because sooner or later you will emotionally burn out. And the burnout that comes with being a people pleaser is that you can never fully please every person every minute of every day, right? So sooner or later you will find that there's no way to get to where you want to be, because you're always doing someone else's bidding. You're always being a support system to someone else, giving them money, giving them time, giving them attention, giving them affection. And the burnout from that will cause you emotional pain, because you're in a catch-22. If you say no, you're going to lose the relationship potentially. But if you keep saying yes, you're going to burn out, and that will be painful. The next is, do you micromanage? So micromanagement is simply the enactment of a control mechanism from within a person. And in the beginning, especially if you have a project that is extremely important to you, or something that has a deadline, or something that can only go a certain way in order for it to be successful, micromanaging in and of itself in a short span to get something done is not bad. However, when micromanaging becomes your default setting, in other words, it becomes what you do in almost every social and emotional situation, you will have emotional pain from that, because again, it's a different type of burnout. This time, not only are you burnt out because you're doing too much, but you're also burnt out with always having to be 2 to 3 steps ahead of other people and situations. The next sign of emotional pain, or flooding of emotional pain, is isolation. You think that if you spend enough time with yourself, you think that if you spend enough time in private, you will find resolution within yourself about what you're feeling. In reality, the social implications and emotional backlash of isolation is that you actually will become more on edge and more negatively emotional, because you don't have someone to talk to, which means you don't have a way to gain new perspectives. The feedback loops inside the human brain usually go through the same patterns and pathways, because we can't think of another solution. If we could, we already would. It's the age-old saying of, I've tried everything in a situation. Well, you've tried everything that doesn't work, but there's always another solution. But oftentimes we need an outside source to bring us solutions we haven't considered, or are outside our comfort zone. When we don't have that because of isolation, there will be emotional pain as a result. Perfectionism. Now, perfectionism can come from a lot of false training. Perfectionism can come from ideas such as OCD, other control disorders, and perfectionism is a sign of a mental instability, but also a sign that you're getting emotionally flooded. If you have to make something perfect, it's because you don't believe that another person can do it. Also, it's because you're trying to get the validation from proving that your, quote, perfect, quote, mindset or approach to things is better or has value greater than someone else's, and therefore you're hoping to get a positive emotional impact from that perfectionism mentality. However, it doesn't work long term, because while you can do a thing perfectly, or maybe many things perfectly, sooner or later you will, in fact, make a misstep, fall out of alignment, or miss something, and then you will be emotionally flooded with the defeat of realizing that you're not perfect, which is shocking for a lot of people. Next is having a past-related mindset. And I say this all the time to clients, but the past only matters as much as you let it. The story you tell yourself about things that have already happened to you, circumstances that have already occurred, relationships that have already ended, opportunities you missed, has a direct correlation with how you go forward in the future. If you have a destructive mindset where you look at the past consistently as the definition of why you're not where you want to be, you will continue to reaffirm that, and in fact, you will be stuck in that mindset until you shift it. If you have a progressive mindset and you say, you know what, this thing that was negative that I wish had never happened to me, it's not denying emotions, it's moving past emotion into action. This thing that I wish had never happened to me has taught me A, B, and C, and I'm going to take that with me and do D, E, and F in order to get a different result in the future. The next one is holding on to or repeatedly entering toxic relationships. It doesn't matter who you're dealing with, whether it's family, friends, a partner, a boss. If you're in a toxic relationship where you cannot feel progressive, positive, and supported, you will eventually go through emotional burnout and emotional pain because you're trying to change someone who either doesn't want to change, doesn't see the benefit of changing, or doesn't see the benefit of you as a person. When you're trying to change someone who doesn't want to change, it's like running backwards on a treadmill. You can do it, but sooner or later, you're going to slip, you're going to fall off, and you're most likely going to get hurt. So rather than trying to change someone else, change your perspective about that person and give yourself the freedom that you deserve, desire, and are worthy of. The next is constant worry. Worry, again, is another control mechanism. It is to say that you should be able to come up with a solution, find a solution, create a solution that gives you the life you want. And while minor worry, in other words, in an emergency situation or a situation where instantaneous action is necessary, is useful in human context. That's where our fight or flight syndrome comes from. It's where our desire to protect ourselves comes from. Consistent worry is never good because it will lead to depression, anxiety, fear, mostly isolation, and a lot of other negative mental health consequences, mainly because worry doesn't lead to resolution. Focus on problem solving does. Remember, too, that your physical body can be affected by your emotional state. A person who is constantly in worry, anxiety, panic, frustration, anger, and other negative emotions will eventually have physical symptoms. These can be something as simple and light as a headache to permanent gastroenterological problems, problems with the nervous system, problems with chronic pain, problems with mental health, such as anxiety and depression. And in some extreme cases, people have actually given themselves larger issues, such as heart attacks, strokes, and other life-altering physical maladies because they haven't found a proper outlet for their physical pain. Therefore, do not allow your physical pain and emotional pain to become so enmeshed that you make yourself sick. Second to last is music. Music is a wonderful outlet and something that I help clients with all the time. I think most of us respond to sound lyrically or aesthetically in terms of instruments and the like. And using a sad song or a song that has anger in it or a song that expresses negative emotion is appropriate and sometimes necessary. However, also finding a rebalancer is equally necessary. So what I call a mind balancer is let the negative emotion out. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to punch your pillow, punch your pillow. If you need to go find a heavy bag and hit it as hard as you can, do that. And use what some may see as sad or angry music as a tool to unlock those emotions. But when you are done releasing the emotions, be sure to balance it with something that's hopeful or helpful or uplifting, or at the very least makes you think, there could be something better around the corner. If you stay in a place of sadness and despair, you will affect your mental, emotional, and physical health eventually. The last one is staying in places of anger. Anger has a component to it that's helpful. It's an indicator that something needs to change, and it's also an indicator of the potential for abuse, injustice, sadness pushed upward and outward, and a whole bunch of other factors. But staying in anger will only make your condition worse, because anger without an outlet festers into depression, it festers into violent outbursts, it festers into the need to either isolate or gain vengeance. There's many things that untreated anger will fester into. And if you're not giving it an outlet, it will affect every aspect of your life. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.